as many as 50 miles in a day, which is incredible. So all the troops are tired, they're hot in the middle of a heat wave, there hasn't been a great deal of water en route, we know this from the chronicles. And the men are already, they're subpar, they're not as well as they should be.
Those with sharp eyes and good ears will note that the Lancastrian guns are much smaller and less powerful than the Yorkist guns, which means Lancaster is starting to take the pounding that I predicted, and the commanders there have to take a decision to retreat out of range and lose the position they've taken, or to charge the Yorkists and try and smash them by a surprise attack.
Looking somewhat outnumbered there, we know that the numbers were relatively equal. Numbers in the chronicles vary from 5,500 on the Yorkist side and 5,000 on the Lancastrian side to slightly more on the Yorkist side. It's one of those battles where we have very, very little data. As yet, the troops have not engaged. I think that's saying everything's broken quite soon by the shouting. We've started each other up with artillery exchange and with exchange of arrows, and now they are going to basically engage.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Obviously doesn't understand English.
What's the matter?
I hear Lancaster moving. I hear the commander surging forward. They've decided to attack rather than to retire. The whole Lancastrian army is now moving forward into the centre of the field, heading towards the Yorkists. And it's the young prince and his division that are right out in front at the moment.
The prince leading his division himself, my lord the Duke of Somerset leading his division somewhat behind, and the saffron plumes of the Duke of Devon also in front of his unit. So all the commanders currently leading from the front. My lord the Duke of Somerset going slightly further forward than the prince.
And what has happened is that the rest of Lancaster's army is defeated, and Somerset's taking his wing on alone. This happened in history, and actually we're not sure why. Somerset always insisted that he and Lord Wenlock and the Earl of Devon had agreed to attack together, but when he attacked, the others stayed back. Others say that Somerset never told the rest that he was going to charge, and he simply went in alone and left the rest of them wondering what was happening. And as you can see over on the right, Somerset's division is now heading home against the Yorkists, with Somerset leading from the rear, whereas the young Richard of Gloucester is right there in front, inspiring his men. And battles join with that familiar sound, which I always feel sounds like 50 petals being beaten into shape by a hammer.
Going at a very steady rate there. They were fairly unstoppable. I wasn't sure they were very much anticipated. And now, as we say, they're engaged. And I think my lord the Duke of Somerset is expecting some backup in the centre. What do you think?
Well, here's the problem, which I just mentioned, that we do not know whether Somerset expected the other Lancastrians to join him from the start, or whether he expected them to come in when they saw him going in. What has happened is bewildered, apparently, by what he has done. They are standing still. So a third of each army is now engaged with each other, with the rest of the army standing with their mouths open, wondering what's happening and staring at each other. And Richard's men, Richard of Gloucester's men, have held Somerset's Lancastrians.
I think the only thing Somerset is logically able to do at this point is to withdraw his troops in good order. We know in the actual battle it didn't go quite as smoothly as that. And in fact, Somerset's men were ambushed, rolled up a bit like a carpet, and that is where the original battle rather fell to pieces and finished. Now we're going to show you a little bit more than that today, but it is a very real thing that happened. There's a miscommunication. If you imagine the ground is uneven, there's maybe stands of trees, there's ditches, and they've lost sight of each other and what's going on.
What is absolutely certain, as Kat has just said, is that Lancaster has a serious problem of cooperation between the people in charge, whereas Edward, Hastings and Richard of Gloucester act together as a unit. Somerset's livid, he's shouting abuse at the young Richard of Gloucester. It's very interesting that the teenager is the one who's cool as cucumber here, dignified and composed, and it's the man in his 30s, the experienced Somerset, who is waving, stamping and shouting.
If you speak body language, I mean that is speaking volumes to me. He's there followed by his younger brother, John Beaufort, who is the Marquis of Dorset, who just appears to be slightly ashamed of his older brother. He's hanging back a little bit. In the same sporty delivery with the white star on the back. That's the younger brother there. Backing up his brother, but not taking part in the assault by the look of it.
When you're wearing about 40 kilograms of armour each, you actually can't keep up combat for more than about 20 or 30 minutes, especially in a heat like this. So on the day, Somerset and his men would be exhausted by now, and it's the time for the Prince of Wales to lead forward the rest of the Lancastrian army to try and complete the job in which Somerset has just failed.
And going forward at close,
yes.
look at that.
And the two royals, the Prince of Wales and King Edward, clash together, and the young prince is forced back by the taller, more powerful king. Remember, King Edward is muscular and over 6 feet high.
I want to sit in the middle.
So you can see it.
Yeah, so you can see the full picture. So.
The Yorkies centre holding pretty well there. It was a fairly rapid deployment, good impact, good noise, and also being held very, very efficiently. They're very. Oh, I'm just looking at the plumes going in at an angle there. That's a headbutt, I think. It's getting kind of tasty in the centre there. And then furthest away from us, you've got my lord Devon's troops against Hastings. Again, a slightly slower fight, but very, very well matched.
Thanks, man. It is warm, isn't it?
You're still on the field.
Just ridiculous.
I'm going to offer you water. You're having your beer.
The Beauforts there getting G'd up, so that's the Lancastrian right under Edmund Beaufort, Duke of Somerset. Forward he goes again, with his men,
We push something to put them.
What have you pushed?
Devon and Westlock in the Prince of Wales and their the Yorkies, and then
This is the brolly?
so both as well, they're moving smoothly and in full order with their commander still in view. It's worth bearing in mind how young a lot of the leaders are.
Are they retreating?
Plated-armour.